Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and today I'm going to take this PTR-44 Sturmgewehr out to a two-gun match. I've been really excited to get my hands on one of these and actually do some shooting with it. I've had the chance to shoot original Sturmgewehrs, but only on very basic flat range conditions. I would love to take one to a match, and this is the closest I've been able to get so far. There have been a number of attempts to make commercial reproduction Sturmgewehrs in the US. Some of those, of course, are still going on. The Hill and Mack guns, they've been taken over by PSA, of course. But there's only one batch that has actually come to fruition, and that is this, the PTR-44. These were imported by PTR, the company better known for doing roller-locked German guns, G3s, HK-33s, that sort of thing. They brought in a small batch of a couple hundred of these out of Germany about 10 years ago, and they have gone bonkers in the market ever since, because there was only ever one batch imported. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. By the way, if you're interested in that specifically, I have a whole video on the PTR-44. I'll link to that at the end here. You can check it out. But now, without further ado, let's get out to the match. All right, so by the way, I am using that Arex Delta that you saw as my pistol as practice for Lynx Brutality. It has nothing to do with the Sturmgewehr, and I decided to use some French Algeria kit here. Sturmgewehrs really got around everywhere in the world, and some of them were in fact used by the French forces in both Indochina and Algeria. So the tricky bit with this stage is there are no-shoots behind a lot of the targets. So you saw them there. I had to make some pistol hits. Now comes the harder bit. I have to hit that larger steel target with a rifle from left, right, and above a series of barricades here. And from all of these positions, there are no-shoots pretty much all over the place behind that steel target. So it takes me a couple shots here just to confirm my zero. I have to make a little bit of an adjustment, but then I am able to start getting good solid first round hits like that, which is essential because not quite every round you miss ends up being a 10-second penalty for hitting a no-shoot, but quite a lot of them do. So it was really cool here to be able to go through and just make first round hit after first round hit. And I'll tell you what, the Sturmgewehr is a fantastically nice, soft shooting rifle. It's heavy, it's 11 or 12 pounds, but that 8x33 Kurtz cartridge is not overly powerful, which was, of course, the whole point of the thing to begin with. There was a little bump fire double there, oops. But cartridge isn't particularly overpowered. It's got minimal recoil. The gun has a very soft, sort of a long and slow recoil stroke to it. In some ways similar to an AR. You get a little bit of a kind of a springy sensation because the recoil spring goes clear out to the buttstock.
So I had good, actionable intel that that guy was FLN. That's why I shot him twice. That's definitely why I shot him twice.
All right, moving on to stage 2. This is going to be a fairly similar stage. We start seated here. Note my pretty awesome reproduction French lizard camo fatigues there. Anyway, start seated, 2 steel targets. You have to make 1 hit on each of them from the seated position here to begin, and then from a variety of other positions, typically left, right, and under these. So the under is going to provide a little bit of a challenge. Got a malfunction there. Not exactly sure what that was. Didn't really have time to go check it out on the clock. But again, the gun continues to be, as a practical matter, very accurate, very comfortable to shoot. One thing I particularly like about the Sturmgewehrs is they were an early proponent of sort of the straight line stock concept, and the sights are rather high on the gun, and when you drop your cheek into the back of the stock there, at least for me, I just get a really perfect sight picture without having to adjust my head at all. It feels very comfortable. It looks kind of clunky when you're just looking at the gun, but to me it works really well. Case in point, it even works well here lying on my side to make those 2 hits. The last position is going to be this staircase, left, right, and then you have to shoot from between 2 of the stairs. Your choice, which 2. There's left, there's right, and then clamber down in between the stairs. And then I'm going to have to run down range and clear the plate rack with pistol. So That's it for the Sturmgewehr in this stage, but we still got 6 more targets to hit. And once again here, we now have no-shoot targets positioned behind the plate rack. So a red dot on a pistol is the easy way to do this. I still don't quite make all of my hits here. We'll see in a moment how many of those turned into hostage penalty shots. There we go.
All right, so for the guys here behind this stage confirmed that these were all actually just innocent civilians, no FLN, so I didn't shoot any of them. Whew. This thing's just so much fun to shoot.
And moving on to our third and final stage for the match. This one, we actually start inside a vehicle, and there are once again a bunch of no-shoot targets here. You have to negotiate those, only hit the bad guys, not the good guys. Start with a bunch of pistol shots from in the vehicle, then I'm going to abandon the pistol right there, grab the rifle. We have to make a couple hits on the longer range targets from the rifle, from the vehicle with the rifle. So get those, well, get that one, and then our second one here. It is kind of a clunky gun, a very long magazine to be messing around with inside a vehicle. That's definitely not its strong point. Then there is a series of 6 cones. You have to hit each of the steel targets once from each cone. I had one more malfunction here. Once again, not sure exactly what that was. If it was a light strike, if it was a hard primer, I don't really know. I'm using PPU ammunition. I actually bought a whole bunch of that like 5 or 6 years ago in expectation of a different Sturmgewehr reproduction. That never, well, I shouldn't say never happened. It hasn't happened yet, although it looks like it still will eventually. But I still had the ammo lying around, so that's ammo is easy for me to supply for this. PPU makes a batch of ammo every so often. It comes on the market until it sells out, and then it's unavailable for a while. Pretty happy with how I did on those guys. I was really worried that I might have a much harder time on those targets, but not so much. I'm really happy at how that went. Didn't win the match, of course, but I was also using a reproduction of an 80-year-old rifle. So this year, very fun to shoot. The recoil is fantastically light. It's just fascinating to actually have a chance to use a rifle that had that sort of historical impact. This really was the basis for 50 plus years of small arms design. I mean, you could argue it's the basis for the small arms that we're still using today in a basic conceptual format. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.